Hey everyone, it's Ryan from Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here, back for another Thursday night live episode. And this show is being broadcast from the Smokin' Studios here at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. Big shout out to Abe and Smokin' team down there in Boynton Beach, Florida, where I'm telling you guys, it is the fastest shipping you will ever have. I placed an order at like 2 in the afternoon. It shipped literally that same day. If you have not checked out Smokin' yet, go to smokin.com, sign up for their rewards program, sign up for their Smokin' Cigar of the Month Club. It'll be the best damn Cigar of the Month Club that you will ever join. I absolutely promise. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight in here and say a big thank you and shout out to all of the show sponsors, obviously Smokin' Cigars included. We've got BAMF Cigars ish over at BAMF and ROCF. We've got Glenn Case and Jared Trudeau from Kristoff Cigars. We've got Karen Berger and Bruce Bush and team from K by Karen Berger, soon to be Karen Berger Cigars. John from Sagrado. We've got New Air Humidors. Amanda Micallef, Al Micallef, and Dan Thompson and team over there at Micallef Cigars. Big thank you. Brendan Marsh from Big Sky Cigars and Cornell and Diehl Pipe Tobacco as well. So thank you all very, very much for sponsoring the show and making this show remotely possible every single week. And we cannot forget one of the main items on every Thursday night show is our Axe and the Oak Distillery tasty beverage. This week it will be their bourbon whiskey. We'll get into the cigar here in a second. Just to give everybody just a few quick little show updates here. If you're interested in coming to Colorado this summer and you'll be in the area on July 21st, we would love to invite you. Let's see if I can move over. We'd love to invite you to our fundraising event that we're doing, and this is all going to be for Shadow Warriors Project. Shadow Warriors Project is head up by Mark Osgeist. If you're familiar with Benghazi, he's also depicted in the movie 13 Hours. This is an organization that he set up to help pay for medical bills and other bills that Shadow Warriors have a tendency to let rack up when they get injured because they just can't pay it. They're very expensive. So jump over to shadowwarriorsproject.com, check out their website. They'll also have a link to fully donate. They're trying to go for a 60-acre farmland ranch style where they can train dogs in peace, be able to invite vets up, train with the vets. So the vets are training alongside that dog, making a better relationship. And we are going to raise as much money as humanly possible for them this year. Tickets are on sale on eventbrite.com. All you got to do is go to eventbrite.com and search Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. Tickets are only a few left. There's not very many left at all after this last week. A ton of them got picked up. Tickets are only $150 a person. Definitely make sure to pick up a parking ticket if you intend on driving up there. It's going to have appetizers, open bar, complimentary cigars, commemorative challenge coin. Last year, the challenge coin that we made up was this one. Let's see if I can show it. Was this one. So we had the back of all the shops that were going to be on the coin helping us out, and on the front we've got the Dunafin Castle crest. So definitely, if you're going to be in the Colorado area, jump on eventbrite.com, sign up for your tickets today. Live and silent auctions as well as live music. And we even got our glasses back finally, which are now going to be with our logo on the front, but with an updated year. And then this year, they're sponsored by Axe and the Oak as well. Big shout out to Axe and the Oak for that. Now, enough blathering on by me. Nobody really comes to listen to me anyways, even though everyone's nice enough to say they do. They come to listen to the guest, and we have an absolutely fantastic guest on tonight. This guest is going to be sponsoring the Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. So if you will be there, you will have an opportunity to win yourself some of their amazing, amazing cigars. Fouad, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, Ryan. Good. And listen, people like to listen to you. It's not just your guest. I'm sure you're a very interesting, intriguing guy, and I'm sure everybody. And since last time I heard you about 4 or 5 times since you had the interview with my wife Romy, and you're an amazing guy. So let me put it that way.
Well, I appreciate that.
So don't discount yourself.
And you have some big shoes to fill. Romy was a knockout interview, so
I know that. I'm sure. I'm not gonna try even to come close.
Well, Fouad, before we get into what cigar we're smoking tonight, go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be sharing the show. Big shout out to Kevin Shahan for this amazing lighter as well. No need to carry a permit for it. It's fully licensed in every single state. So, Fouad, I'll give you the floor here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Give us a little bit of a background on Hiram and Solomon, and we'll be right back, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Some as you may know, my name is Fouad Kashouty. I'm one of the original creator of Hiram and Solomon Cigars, the brand that started in a Masonic lodge, technically trying to raise money for a scholarship, and from there it just went viral. And we're on in so many, almost in every state and over 30 countries right now. Our main purpose of creating the cigar, as I said, was a scholarship fund, and we kept that spirit which we started the cigars upon, and we carry it now with every cigar that we make, uh, with every line that we make, to have a charity that cigar is specifically for, like the Shriner Hospital, the Sluxic Centers, and doesn't have to be just a Masonic charities, because we do donate to we did donate $10,000 to the Coast Guard Memorial Fund in Cape May, New Jersey, and one of the biggest charity that we do right now, and I'm probably most proud of it, it's the Cigar for Warriors program that we do, whereby 100% of the proceeds went to Cigar for Warriors, and for whomever is not accustomed to Cigar for Warriors, they are volunteer guys, wonderful people, that they collect cigars and send them to these guys that they are sitting, defending our freedom, where we're here enjoying, complaining most of the time, and they're the one who's supposed to complain, not us, but we still like to complain, and saying how life is hard, because we're sitting, because the temperature is 5 degrees lesser or higher than we expected it to be.
Yeah.
So we salute these soldiers, we salute these warriors that they're over there overseas, in the U.S. and everywhere, that they're protecting our freedoms. Salute to them and all the respect.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, if there's any group in this country that has a legitimate reason to bitch, it certainly is the military people, and you don't often hear that because they just get in there and do what they have to do and keep their mouths shut and move forward. And we commend them for them coming up on the Memorial Day weekend. We honor you and everybody that has served in this country, and from the bottom of from the bottom of my heart, and from the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show, and I know I could speak for Hiram and Solomon Cigars.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for everything that every soldier still alive and had already passed has ever done for this country.
Absolutely.
So let's kind of jump straight into here. So I got Romy's side. Anybody that wants to watch Romy's side could go and she did an absolutely fantastic interview.
Stop putting the pressure on me, Ryan.
Fouad's got a lot to live up to here, but let's get your side of the story. What's your version of how you and Romy met? What's your version of how you started the cigar, Hiram and Solomon? And what's your version of what it has grown into and kind of through your eyes?
Uh, Ryan, in 2013-14, as I was mentioning, I always wondered as a Freemason. I've been a Freemason for 27 years. And you're going to hear probably a lot about me saying Freemasons, Freemasons throughout the show, because our whole cigar theme are the Freemasons and the teaching of the Freemasons, even the cigars name and everything. As I said, we started this company as a charity to collect money for scholarship, and from there on, unexpectedly, uh, it grew to a place where in 7 years, and this is according to some big cigar makers, it took them about 20 years to be. We are on, as I said, in many lodges in the U.S. and 30 countries, and that's with the help, I believe, the help of the Freemasons, and that went to every cigar lounge saying that we need this cigar. But that does not stop there, because getting the support of your brethren to buy your product and support you has to be also paralleled with the great product, whether it's a cigar or anything else. In our case, it's just a cigar, or some kind of accessories. So we lived up to that reputation, and we presented them with the best cigars that we can bring to the market, as diversified as we can make it, and we try to embody the spirit of Freemasonry, of a charity and benevolence and the believing one God in our cigars also. So in one way, we became messengers or to the fraternity to introduce Freemasonry to non-Masons. And out there is a lot of anti-Freemasons, many of them. I don't know
Sure.
why, but they
The
exist, and
secret society
the
thing.
secret society, yes. And as one of past grandmasters said, our biggest secret is we have no secret. But it's for people to it's for people to either to believe or not to believe. So it's a way of life. It's a way how we conduct ourselves, and to become a better man, a better citizen, a better father, a better brother, a better husband, a better neighbor, and that's our goal in life. And while doing that, of course, collect money for different charities. And for some people who don't know, uh, Freemasons in the U.S. alone, and let me put it between parentheses, it's worldwide. In the U.S. alone, do about $3 million a day in charity. Uh,
Jeez.
yes,
Wow.
and that's unannounced. Nobody talks about it. We don't like to talk about it, but I like to bring it up. Absolutely, I have no problem doing it. So, so in a way, the cigar it lit up the fire that it was extinguished in some Masons, and brought them back to their lodges and to their brethren, and also tried to introduce it to non-Masons who try to understand what Freemasonry are or have their wrong beliefs. So I think we're doing. I hope we are doing the right job doing that, while keeping people entertained, enjoying a great cigar at the same time.
Well, I tell you what, speaking of a great cigar, I happened to find this cigar. I showed you the two I found, Lanceros. So I would like to kind of let's go through here really quick. Let me flag up our sponsorship bit here from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust
Sure.
of what are you smoking tonight? Well, Fouad and I are smoking the exact same cigar tonight. I
And
will let
by coincidence,
Yes, absolutely. I will let him explain this cigar, what makes this cigar special, and yeah, so we'll start there.
I mean, first of all, it's a Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper, and for some people who don't know, Lancero is one of the hardest to roll or to make it perfect. So far, my cigar and all the cigars that I smoked, they just perfectly rolled and construction wise and everything. What makes it special, first, of course, it's our cigar. Secondly, the tobacco that we use on in this specific cigar, the Veil Prophet, it is age minimum of 3 years, and we use a very rare Paraguayan tobacco in it, along with the Nicaraguan and Dominican. So it has about four countries and five region, which is two regions in Nicaragua that we use in this tobacco, which gives it a very flavorful, complex taste. I like it. I don't like. I will not smoke the cigar in the morning. I will definitely smoke it in the afternoon or in the evening, accompanied by some bourbon and stuff. and and as far as ratings, this cigar, through blind tasting or non-blind tasting, got very high ratings in many publications.
Well,
And no, we don't pay for those ratings.
well, I hope not, right? And
Right.
I can't picture. I mean, my guess is you just have all the Masons go on there and give the ratings. And no, I'm just totally kidding. But so, well, thank you so much for explaining the "What Are You Smoking Tonight?" brought to you by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Thank you very much, Steve, for your support of the show. Check out Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust for all of their stories and products as well. So let's get back into the show here. Now, I got to ask, because John asked, I know this is a question that we're probably not going to get the full answer to, because if you watch History Channel, you have to be beat by Cat of Nine Tails and dragged, and you got to have a bunch of reading, and you got to be really smart. But in all seriousness, what does it take to become a Freemason? Now, before you answer, let me give my unintelligent answer from what I understand. The ability to help others and the desire to be a leader in the community, a belief in a God in general, and yeah, so essentially those three things. It's community help, community leadership, and a belief in a God, and then obviously be willing to devote 30 plus years to learning it. Did I hit that correct?
Not bad at all, actually. And as the name says, it's a free basis. So the word, the part of free, which is actually, I mean, I see it here says Freemason has two words. It is actually one word. The Freemason is the ability, that the willingness of you wanting to become a Freemason without being asked. It's for your own free will accord. You want to join this fraternity, which is, as as you explained, Ryan, community, charity, and the willingness and the wants of wanting to become a better man. And while doing that, you'll do all kind of the charities towards the community. And charity is not just giving money; it's giving your time, it's giving your effort. It's knocking on your neighbor's door, asking if he needs anything today. And these are all charities. Charity is not just taking $100 or $1,000 or $1 million and giving it. No, it comes in
Time.
different at time. It becomes different aspects and different ways, and definitely the belief in one God. And when I say God, it's not just the Christian God or the Muslim God or the Jewish God or whatever. It's
A God.
one, a God. You have to believe in one God, a supreme being, that it is bigger than you. And as I said, the willingness to become a better man.
Now,
That's all.
now I do want to, without getting political, because I don't really care to go down that route, but I am very curious in this tumultuous last 20 plus years where certain religions are just demonized based on the fact that it's that religion, whether it be Christianity, Muslim, Jewish, or Judaism. How does differing religions, does that make, let me ask it this way. Does religion come into play inside the Masonic Lodge outside of your belief in it?
Not at all. Zero.
Okay. So therefore, there's no inner workings of, oh, you're battling this person on which God is correct, or no religious
There is no
interference.
religion talk in any way or shape. No religion, and surprisingly for people who want to hear that, no politics. No politics, no religions are involved inside the lodge room.
Oh, oh, I
And
think we need to put that rule other places nowadays too.
doesn't mean we don't talk. Doesn't mean we don't talk politics outside the lodge room. We don't. We discuss politics. We discuss religion outside the lodge room. But
Sure.
while within the lodge room, we are equal, as we call it, the Freemasonry. We are all on the level,
Yeah.
on one level, and that's what it is. So no politics, no religion. And when you sworn on the we have obligation that you need to take, and different obligations, different degrees. You only take it on the Holy Bible, that on the Holy Book that you believe in. So if you're a Christian, you take it on the Holy Bible. If you're Jewish, you take it on the Torah,
Yeah.
Torahs, and if you're a Muslim, on the Quran, and so on. So we don't enforce any religion on you. We don't enforce that. We just, are we spiritual? Yes, we're spiritual. Yes,
Of
absolutely.
course.
Absolutely. We believe in supreme being. We believe in charity. We believe in benevolence. We believe in brotherhood, the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God. That's our belief. And beside that, everything that people hear about, or whether we are devil worshippers or whatever it is, it's all. I think they made Freemasonry more than what it is by just saying these stuff. And Freemasonry throughout history had the policy of not responding to these people. I'm probably breaking that policy right now and telling them no, but Freemasonry, whether that helped or not throughout history, I really do not know. There is a lot of talks within Freemasonry, within the leaders, within the big thinkers, that do we need to respond right now? Is it time to respond, especially this time of age with the social media, or not? So there's a lot of things may change, may not, and that's what it is. So
Well, one of the things, and I've shared this to you before when Roby was on, and even after the show, my granddad was a Mason.
right,
Started the Masonic Lodge in Ocala, Florida. Was one of the founding members of that specific lodge. And, I can tell you right now, he was the furthest thing from a devil worshiper. It was literally in the same block, or not block. You could throw a football probably 40 yards and hit the church on the same property. I think personally, where Masons get that whole, and maybe 500-600 years ago, 300 years ago, maybe Masonic did carry a little bit more of a secret society ish role. But definitely when it comes to today, there's no secret societies today in the sense of who's pulling strings. And I think the reason why Masonics got that is because there were so many influential
absolutely.
higher ups in multiple organizations, multiple governments. I mean, the vast majority, I would say a majority of our presidents in some way, shape, or form were tied to Masons.
Absolutely.
So I think that's more where that comes from, and the whole like, oh, they control everything, because the old adage, Masons
Hmm.
laid out Washington D.C. and in the 5-star pentagram. It's all, was it influenced? Yes, but I don't think that the Freemasons, in my opinion, have had an overwhelming control over the world outside of the fact that world controllers belonged to the Freemasons.
Probably that's exactly exactly how it is. Exactly how it is. It just happened in the Middle Ages. I mean, when Freemasonry joined, probably most of the thinker of those time, they were the only one, or the thinkers or the wealthy were able to join fraternities in the Middle Ages, or join a group of Masons where big dues were. You had to pay big dues in that time. So yes, big artists, big musicians, politicians, all these people. Yes, they're big influential. They were part of Freemasonry, but did they become a president because they were Freemasons?
No.
I don't believe so. Otherwise, every president should be a Mason.
Yeah.
So
And
not a
competing presidents have been Masons.
absolutely on
Democrat,
both sides.
Republican, Libertarian.
Absolutely.
So it's like does somebody just flip the coin in the big house over there and go, you get to win?
Absolutely.
So no, I personally think that stigma just comes from the fact that that the Freemasons have been privileged to have some of the smartest, wisest, most intelligent and influential people of their time just be part of it.
Absolutely. Now,
And
do they brought the teaching of Freemasonry and stuff into their work? Yes,
of course,
absolutely,
of course,
absolutely.
of
I'm not going to
course.
deny that. Yes.
No, absolutely. Look at the back of the dollar bill. There's Masonic influences, and but again, I don't believe as a grandfather that was in this organization that it would have been some sort of like eyes wide shut secret society organization, where it's like some weird stuff is going on by any means. But John actually has two questions that I
Go
want to
ahead.
touch on, and we've got to start with this, right? Because we've got somebody from a Freemason on. They're gonna spill all the secrets, guys. If you go to my OnlyFans, we have a separate meeting after this, and he's gonna spill all the pay-per-view information. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So John asks, and I will let you answer this for the question itself. Are there other organizations that you need to be part of before you can be considered for a Freemason?
No, the only organization you need is to be a human and decent man. That's all. Nothing else. Now, are there other organizations that you cannot join if you are not a Mason? Yes, but to be a Mason, no. This is where it starts, and you continue from there on.
Yeah, like the other organizations, Scottish Rite,
Shriners,
Shriners, these
Knight
have,
Templars, and stuff like that.
yeah, so these all have Masonic Lodge prerequisites, but once you're in the lodge, you can join up for those as well.
Different groups,
Um,
subgroups. Yeah.
and then John also asks, so are you saying that all religions are welcome and we're okay? Come on, John. Working towards no, they're not working toward. All religions are welcome to be part of the group. No one's working towards a one world order.
John, if Freemasonry probably exists. I mean, earliest record that existed Freemasonry probably 1500s in Scotland. If since then until now we couldn't do that one word, we're never going to be able to do it. Let's put it that way. So no, we're not working into one word. No, we don't do that. It's a freedom. We're freedom free. You believe in what you believe. I believe in what I believe. We're in the lodge room. We are one. We are on the level. You are same as me. Whether you're a prince, king, or a garbage man, or anything, we're on the level, and that's how we meet.
So it's like walking into a cigar lounge and picking up a cigar. The cigar is an ultimate equalizer. Being in the Masonic Lodge itself equalizes everybody that's in it, regardless of financial background or power or influence. Everyone's on the level, like you said, equal.
Yes, yes, and one in one of the catalog, I have a saying that I said, I never created Freemasonry, definitely did not create cigars, but I masters combining both of them together. That I do take credit for, that I master combining those two brotherly fraternities, and that brotherly love that we feel when we walk into cigar lounge is the same that I feel when I walk into the Masonic Lodge. So it is the same. Yes.
Yes, Randy. DeMolay is the kids' version of Freemason. And then what is the female version?
Easter Star.
Eastern Star, which they also have a cigar called the Eastern Star.
What was the question over there?
It was Dad was a Freemason and a Shriner. Randy was in the Order of the DeMolay. Are they very similar?
Yes, I mean, we consider that Demolay is the futures of Freemasonry. They don't have to become a Freemason after the age of 18 or 21, depending on the states, but most of them will become Freemasons. The Demolay are the kids of a Freemasons.
So Bruce kind of asks a funny comical style question that I don't think has any seriousness behind it, but I would actually like to kind of address, since you've been in the Freemasons for 30 some years, are there any movies or documentaries that come out that kind of, I know you said they don't respond, but are there any of them that are like, man, we have to respond on this, or this is just absolutely a lot? Like, is there anything that's ever stirred up controversy inside the organization?
No, no, there's nothing actually. I mean, the movie National Treasure, it brought a lot of attention to Freemasonry. Now, is everything inside there true? I don't believe so. They did exaggerate. They did make it as a Hollywood movie at the
Of
end.
course, of course.
Was a lot of things right? Yes, absolutely. A lot of things were right over there also. But there is nothing, and this is nothing actually, compared to other stuff that we get hit with, that any Freemasons or Freemasonry felt the need to respond. And let me put one thing here. When I say Freemasonry, there is no such a thing as one group of the Grand Master of the Freemason of the whole world. That does not exist. There is no Grand Lodge of the whole world. Does not exist. In the United States, every state has their own Grand Lodges. And they don't have one Grand Master that governs. They do meet, yes, they do meet. Of course, the Grand Masters, they meet multiple times. Every country has their own Grand Lodge. Uh, are the degrees the same? Very similar. Yes, I can be sitting in a lodge in Germany, them doing the degrees in Germany, but I can tell exactly what's happening because it's very, very 99% similar. And let's not forget, many of these lodges, if not all, they did not have anything written. It was from word, mouth to ear. That's how we learned and we continued. So some stuff changed within it. Yes, absolutely. That's why we see some Italian degrees in New York that they are beautiful, wonderful. They use different stuff than we use in our lodge. But at the end, the spirit of the degree, the teaching of the degree is the same, whether it's here or in Angola or in the Middle East or in Japan or in Australia or anywhere else.
Absolutely. And John, just to kind of discount the whole what new world order or one world order, the fact that there are 50 different grand lodges in this country in every state, as well as probably a couple of hundred lead grand masters for those lodges, defeats the entire purpose of one person ruling everything. And I think personally, the Masons set that up to be as free as possible instead of under a one rule. So, John, I think their basic setup disputes that entire one world order, considering they don't even give themselves a one world rule. And so I hope I put that kind of in good terms. I like to kind of tie
Excellent.
things together a little bit. So let's see. We are, yes. So this was going to be my next question. John beats me to it. You've been in it for 30 some years. Wow.
27 years. 27 years.
For 20, how?
Grandfather was a Freemason, and most of the time runs within the family. My father was not. And when I moved to the United States in 1988 from Lebanon, I'm originally from Lebanon, Armenian from Lebanon. And I was always curious about the Freemasons because of grandfather, because grandfather used to go to the meetings and used
Same
to get
here.
his apron in Lebanon, I'm talking. And so I got very curious, started reading about it, started reading books, but I found books anti-Masons and pro-Masons. So I wanted to see by myself to see what the true thing is. And it just happened when I moved to the US. There was a lodge down the road from me. I just went there and knocked the door, and somebody answered, and I said, I want to become a member. And that's how it started.
Amazing.
And from there on, I don't regret a minute of it. And if I have to do it all over again, I'll do it all over again.
Absolutely. I one of these days, you know, I promised my granddad that I would start that process. It is a big time commitment in the sense of in the beginning learning and understanding that process. I've been told it can be a little bit of a time commitment. in that during that process. That's something that is on my promised granddad that I would do list, as well as a lot of other things on there that I promised him I would do. But that's definitely up at the top of the list. So I want to kind of focus. Let's shift over to the cigars. You've tickled our fancy with how the fact that Masons are not forming a one world order. And you've kind of exposed a little bit of the fact that they're not a satanic cult, that they're not a cult in general. It's just a group of normal people looking to be better for their community, better for their family, and spiritual in themselves.
Absolutely.
So when we get onto the cigars, now I do understand that obviously like Freemasons are pretty much out there, even though you're not seeing commercials of come join our organizations on, PBS or, anything like that. But what was obviously the U.S. Freemasons were probably a little bit better with this, but what was the world Mason opinion of you coming out with a cigar that does not kind of, but that does bring attention to that Masonic culture?
Ryan, yes, I'll address that. And let me tell you, Freemasonry in the United States is a little different as far as being more public than the rest of the world. The rest of the world, including Europe, they are more secretive. They will not wear rings. They will not put the emblem on the car. They will not do that. They're still holding the old tradition of Freemasons throughout history. That our
legalistic style.
Yes. Do we have secret? Yes, yeah. Our secret handshake and our secret words that we recognize each other and we know which degree we're in. So, and I'll give a handshake. If you're not Freemason, you will not know what I did. So those are the only secrets I believe that we have: the handshakes and the words that we use to recognize each other in every country, which are all the same. So starting the cigar company here, it took me a few years going back and forth with the Grand Lodge and stuff for them to accept it, because a lot of people saw it, some people saw it, and that a member of the fraternity is trying to benefit from the fraternity by doing cigars for the fraternity, but actually it's a business and he wants to make money. It's not
so
a secret.
Hold on. Let me stop you there. You had said Grand Lodge. There's not one main Grand Lodge. Did you seek out advice from
New Jersey?
Okay,
New Jersey. Okay. My local. First, I wanted to go be under my local.
Okay.
Grand Lodge, New Jersey.
Okay.
Which at the end they approved it, but their two main conditions were: first, if you're gonna do a cigar that's gonna carry our symbol, it has to be a good cigar, same as the caliber of the man that belongs to this fraternity. As second, no sexuality involved in it. When I say no sexuality, I mean no porn in it, no stuff like that. Sexy, it's okay. A woman can be sexy, a man can be sexy, and a man in a tux looks sexy, and a woman in a nice dress looks sexy. So they do not accept, and I do not accept myself also, the way sometimes the cigars go with the cigars with a lot of open sexuality that it attracts attention not to the cigar, to the other part of whether it could be a man, it could be a woman.
To the phallic symbol of the cigar.
Yes. So so those are the two. Now, at the beginning of the venture, I got a lot of rejection from the Freemasons within the United States also, because some of the conservative ones did not want to see that they couldn't understand how a cigar carrying our logo can be in the hands of non-Masons. So that was their own, and I started getting a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of messages saying, how do you introduce the cigar? It's not just Freemason. How do you make sure there are Freemasons who are smoking the cigar? And but slowly, and throughout perseverance, making sure that we respect what we are doing and we do our charity work, more people, more Grand Lodges start accepting the fact that we are actually ambassadors for the fraternity, and I'll give you a secret right now. We've been 8 years in doing the cigar business, and we did not get paid a penny for
Wow.
making from this company.
Wow.
We did donate over $150,000 to charity. We are a very small company, and we're growing. We're growing tremendously. Yes, absolutely. But that's one secret, that we did not make money. So a lot of brand owners, even that surprisingly, a lot of brand owners, big brand owners, are also Freemasons. I'm not going to name any name at this moment because they may not want to be recognized as Freemasons.
Sure. Sure.
It's up to them. And I got fought by them at the beginning also
Really?
until they came, and again, one of the biggest brand in there came and apologized for what he thought we are and what we are right now, and he offered all the
Wow.
helps that we can do. Yes, outside the United States, once they saw all these the Grand Lodges of the United States accepting us, slowly they start accepting the fact that we are legit. We are not there just to make a penny or millions of dollars of selling the cigars, but throughout the work of the cigars, whether in the U.S. or worldwide, we were able as a company, as a cigar company, to direct over 450 people that they wanted to join and they had no clue what to do. We were able to direct them to the Grand Lodges that they were where they live, and made them a Freemasons. And when they saw that, and of course they asked, how did you know about us? The answer was many times, Hiram and Solomon Cigars. We were sitting in a cigar lounge. The guy was smoking a cigar, and you know what happened? What you're smoking? And we always go, here. This is what I spoke of. Oh, I know the symbol. My grandfather was same like you. My grandfather was. My father is. I want to become, but I don't know what to do. And from from Africa to the Middle East to Far Asia to the United States, we were able, with our ability, our limited ability, with me and my wife, or at this moment, to be able to direct 450 people and put them in the right direction.
Wow.
One of the strangest things happened one time. Uh, I think it was the second year when we into our creation of 2015. I got a phone call at 1 a.m. and it was a brother Mason, and he introduced himself as Brother Mason. I asked him questions, which lodge and stuff like this, and I said, "Why are you calling? I mean, how can I help you?" And the reason I answered, because I used to get calls from all over the world, from Australia, from this. So it came at one time. I got like I couldn't get any sleep because I get phone calls from all over the world, and they don't recognize where I am, and so I answer my phone. So this guy said, "I'm ready to commit suicide.
Wow.
Please talk to me."
Wow.
And he said, "I couldn't reach any other Masons. I know you being a Masons. I got your number from the website." And I start talking to him for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 years. And the guy now has a job, he has married, and he lives happily ever after. When I remember the story that I was able to save somebody's life because of this creation of the cigar, that gives me
Wow.
goosebump until now, that the guy was able to reach me for whatever reason. It just happened to be me, and could it be any other brother Mason also, and I was able to save his life.
Wow. Um Now, you was he a Mason too?
He was a Mason,
And
yes.
he just reached out, never knew you from Adam, but
I
just
don't,
reached out to you.
and until now, I never met the guy. We
Wow.
talk on the phone, or we text each other here and there, and that's about. I never met the guy, and I don't know where he. I mean, I knew he lived in Florida at a certain time, and he moved to another state right now. He has a great job. Yeah, he's happily ever after with the person that he loves. And
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I want to backtrack here for a quick second. John,
sure,
all you've got to do is just go up and ask. That's it. Some secret society that you could walk through the front door and just ask.
yes,
So
John, and our on every band that we have over here, it says to be one, ask one.
there you go. There you
So if you
go.
want to become one, you ask one. And
And
if you
and
don't find anybody in your area, let me know where you are, and I'll put you in touch with the right people.
yes, everybody. His cell phone number is in the description. He loves, 2 a.m. phone calls. He answers all the time.
I do.
So, but no, so you obviously got a little bit of pushback, but in reality here, it's not like they could have stopped you from making this cigar, correct? Like
No,
even
no,
if the
no,
whole
nobody owns the right for the square and compass. That's another secret. Let's say the same like the cross. Who owns the right for the cross? You can come up with your own line of cross or whatever. Uh, Nobody owns the right for the square and compass. But out of respect, I went to get their support. Now, I cannot use, let's say, per se, Grand Lodge of New Jersey without their
sure,
permission,
sure,
but I can use the square and compass. Like you can use square and compass, put it on your hat, on your
yeah.
shirt. Who's going to tell you? You can go to an embroidery and just embroider it on your shirt and on your hat, and you can wear it. Nobody owns the right for it. But as a Freemason and knowing the value of Freemasonry for me and for my family and for my brethren, I wanted to go the right way to get their support because without their support, it's not. Cigar was not my business in any way or shape. I'm originally convenience store and gas station distribution business, so I had no clue about cigars. We made a lot of mistakes, yes, and we learned from that. Some were very heavy, but we learned, and that's why I offer sometime when I see a smaller cigar group or they're just starting, if there's anything I can help you to avoid the mistakes that I did, I'll be more than happy to do so.
Now, walk us through how you got even into making the cigar. So you had gotten to the point where you knew you wanted to do something. Okay, so that's where we are. All right, I want to make a cigar. You woke up one morning, I want to do it. And now what are your next steps? Who did you reach out to? How did you get into this industry? It's not like you could just call up 1-800 cigars and be like, "Hey, I need a cigar." So like
Send
did
me 100,
yeah, who helped
yeah.
you? How did you get into this world?
It was a rough road, actually, believe it or not. I used to go to all the cigar events, cigar, especially like a Big Smoke and all that stuff, and meet all the brand owners there and or the managers. And I used to tell them I want to make a cigar and stuff, and everybody gave me their card, and everybody told me how they will help me. Uh, for 2 years, no one answered their phone calls, despite any messages that I left there.
That's
Uh,
some help.
yes, and then finally we met. I met a guy who used to go back and forth to Dominican Republic, and that was our start. We made our first 1,000 cigar, and from there on, once we started growing a little bit by little. The first year was 10,000 cigar. That's all that we did, and most of it, all of it actually, was for charity. The second year was for the Coast Guard charity. The Grand Master of New Jersey, Dieter Hees, wanted to have a special cigar for the 300th anniversary. 2017 happened to be the creation of the 300-year creation of the first Grand Lodge ever that existed in the UK that combined all the lodges under one jurisdiction. So to celebrate that, he asked me to do a special cigar for them and send me the seal, send me the approvals, and once I start doing that, slowly, I start getting now the attention of some manufacturers in Dominican and Nicaragua, and those are the same people that they didn't want to talk to me before. Now they'll come and ask if they can, if want to do anything for me. So
The
it was a
popular
rough.
kid on the block gets calls now.
Yes. So, and I'm very proud. We were very persistent, and we did it. And listen, it's not. There's a lot of people over there. They want to make 5,000 cigars. They want to put whatever name on it and put in their stuff. And I understand manufacturers don't want to get involved in small project here and there. They're much bigger than that and stuff. I do understand that, but there was no one to guide me at the beginning, and that's why we made a lot of mistakes. As I said, some heavily cost us heavily, but at the end, the purpose was for charity, and we did make money for charity, and that's what made the whole difference for me.
Now, I can tell you, everybody that's watching, this company is really based in everything shining example of charity. Um, Romy and Fouad and I have never met each other in person, but yet at the last time we spoke, they approached me at the end of the show about our charity event, and all they said was, "Give us an address, and we'll ship a bunch of stuff for you guys for that event to
Absolutely.
help raise the money." Never asked them. Wasn't my idea. That is literally, that was like the first thing that Fouad said to me after the show is, how do we become part of this? So that is the company, guys. This is the kind of company that Hiram and Solomon Cigars is. This is a company that supports community, supports individualism, and supports other big charities and local charities around themselves. So, whereas most cigar companies are started because somebody just wants to go out and make a few bucks, this cigar company was literally started to make a few bucks for a charity and to help raise money for charity. So, um, that is absolutely fantastic. And you just happen to kind of turn this charity arm called Hiram and Solomon Cigars into a business and are now selling cigars. So, are you still do portions of your cigar profits wise go to specific charities? Meaning, can people buy a specific cigar from Hiram and Solomon and know that a proceed is going to a charity or anything like
All,
that?
Ryan, all our cigars, part of proceeds goes to a specific charity. Mainly, as I said, the Shriner Hospital, the dyslexic centers, and local community charitable work. And when we do a specific Grand Lodge cigar, like we did with the revival for North Carolina Grand Lodge, or the Kuramus, or the Unity, or the Chabal for Georgia and New Jersey. At the for every project, we did 10,000 cigars for each, 500 boxes, limited edition. $1 of each cigar went to their charity, and at the end of the term of the Grand Master, we presented a check of $10,000 publicly to every grandmaster, and
Wow.
and we continue to do so right now. We are in the process right now to doing another one for North Carolina again for the incoming grandmaster, for the Arkansas also, and for uh, North Carolina, Arkansas, and Florida. We're working on New York and New Jersey also. New Jersey is my home base, so all the grandmasters, I'll do my best to do as I do for the rest of it. Uh, it's a big project because, as I said, there's 50 regular Grand Lodges and 50 pre-sold Grand Lodges. So if the 100 approaches us, we won't be able to do so. So we are at the position right now where we can pick and choose which Grand Lodge or Grand Master fits our purpose more, where they can show the support and where they can help us sell that cigar, because every cigar we sell, it will make them an extra dollar. Every cigar they'll sell, they will keep the profit of that cigar. The North Carolina Grand Lodge was able to make over $30,000 from the
Wow.
profit of the cigars, and I don't
Wow.
know how many organization can claim, as small as we are, can claim that we donated 20,000, 10,000, 5,000 for their charity. So all our cigars have a purpose as a charity, mainly the Shriner Hospital. And for the people who don't know what the Shriner hospitals are, there are 22 Shriner hospitals in the US. They are free for whomever cannot afford. If you can afford, that's fine. If you have insurance, they will take your insurance. If you don't have, they will not ask you a penny. They bring people, they're orthopedic, under 18 orthopedic and burn centers, advanced orthopedic and burn centers. They bring people, kids from all over the world, from the war zones and everywhere. They bring them with their family to the United States. They feed them, they treat them, they send them back, including their transportation, their food, and every without costing this family a penny in any way or shape. So for those of you who would like to do some charity, please put the Shriner Hospital in your book to donate some money or effort to help.
Now, for Shriners is the arm of the Freemasons that actually does get advertised in
Yes,
commercials for the Shriners hospitals to be
for the
able to
Shriner
donate
hospitals, yes.
directly to them. And my granddad always told me that the Shriners were the fun
Fun
party
group,
arm of the Masonic Lodge. And it
yes.
was business downstairs, or it was business upstairs, and then the
And
party
fun
downstairs.
downstairs.
Yeah. So
I mean, you can see they wear the fez, they drive those small cars, they are
oh
clowns,
yeah.
they have circuses and stuff that which is their main raising funds for the hospital.
Absolutely. And Larry asks here,
Hmm.
are you going to the to be at
Imperial
the
session.
Imperial Session?
We will be there. I will not be myself because it just happened to be at the same exact date as the cigar trade show, the PCA. So we will have representation there. We will have the table. We will have all our cigars at the Imperial session. So far, we did not miss one Imperial session since our creation in 2015.
So are you like, would you show up at a Masonic get together? Are people, it's like, come on, I know you have them. Come on, give me one. Come on. I mean, you've got to be like, when you, oh, who's coming to this event? Oh, we're gonna have some great cigars, fantastic. Like, would you show up to an event? Is that kind of, are people asking how to buy their cigars, or are they just be like, hey, can I have one?
You'll find both of them, Ryan. You find both. Some people are looking for handouts, and I have no problem if I have them. I will hand cigars as long as you don't abuse it. But most will ask where they can get the cigars, or they buy it directly from the retailers next to them, or they go to the retailers and ask them to carry our cigars.
Now, are you allowed to sell at an event your cigars?
Usually, we go through a retailer. Yes.
Okay, but you, so at that Imperial session, you're not going to have a booth up selling your cigars.
No, we will have a booth selling our cigars with the help of a retailer in North Carolina.
Okay, so you guys are even, you're also helping that local. You're not taking business from that retailer.
No, not at all. We
So,
actually encourage for every state to have uh, one of our push to have a retailers carry our cigars. Is every business that we get from cigar lounges, from Masonic lodges, will go through them.
now, if a shop owner is a lodge member, is it at this point in time like a requirement for them to carry your cigars?
Uh,
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm
more,
teasing. I'm teasing.
listen,
I'm teasing.
Ryan, Ryan, morally, yes.
So, getting back to kind of the legalistic side of you bringing this brand to reality,
Mhm.
if you can share with us what one of your biggest, you don't have to name names or lodge names or anything, but what was the biggest issue that somebody took with you bringing this cigar to market using these emblems?
Uh, as I mentioned before, most of them were that they thought we were just there to benefit from the fraternity without giving back to the fraternity. But once they learn that, and we tell them, and they can read and they can see evidence, big evidence that we are actually indeed donate back part of the cigars to the charity, and some of the cigars we don't even make money on it. So if if a Masonic lodge has a cigar event, we usually send them the cigars at cost, and we allow them to sell it to the brethren and keep the profit for their charity. So we don't see that as much as the first couple of years. It died down tremendously. Uh, I don't get that anymore as much as you used to be before.
So I kind of envision you being summoned to one of the Grand Lodges and sitting in front of 50 Grand Lodge members and them just going, "What's your purpose? What's this?" Or was it a little less formal than that? I mean, obviously I know that didn't happen to that extent, but was it something that you actually felt the need to get other lodges outside of New Jersey's and Europe approval before you came out with this?
No, I started, and I did never had the dream of being worldwide or outside New Jersey. As I said, for me, it was just a local charity. So the approval of New Jersey and New Jersey Masons and my brethren in my lodge was for me more than I needed at that time. And as this grew, and we start people start from other lodges or grandmasters talking about the cigars, or and you know when the grandmasters or the masters of the lodges meet and they talk, usually they exchange ideas. How do you make money for your charity? Our name is coming up more and more. We sell cigars, we do this, and that's how the Grandmaster of North Carolina put himself on the first page of the magazine of the North Carolina Grand Lodge magazine with him holding the box of cigars and technically telling them, buy it because it's money for charity. So when grandmasters and other masters seeing that, they're definitely more and more people approaching us and to do what we're doing for other places.
Now,
And I feel very proud for that.
what was that like for you when you saw that picture come out where you have the acceptance of the grandmasters inside certain select lodges? Was that like a, all right, I'm going down the right path, I'm doing the right thing, I'm not fighting with everybody?
I was happy that they saw the real reason of the existence of the Hiram and Solomon cigars, that they understood why we created the Hiram and Solomon cigars, that we were able to inculcate that in their brain, that we are not here to make money from you. We are here to make money together. I'll make money, you'll make money for your charity. At the same time, we are a brand ambassador for the fraternity. We'll help you raise membership and will help you raise money for your charity. The moment I was very surprised, I was shocked to when I came to tears when I saw the Grandmaster holding the cigar on the first page of the magazine, holding it. I couldn't hold myself. I start crying. I start crying because that moment actually brought all everything that was negative in the creation of this cigar into reality, saying they understood you now, they know your purpose, and all I have to say is thank the grand architect, thank God for that, and definitely big thanks for my wife who redirected or brought the cigar company to another level. When I met her, we were here with her help. We we are here right now.
You know, like Anastasia taught me, it's not behind every great man or behind every good man is a great woman. It's alongside every great man. Every good man is a great woman. And me being
Absolutely.
Greek, I know I don't look like it, but yes, I assure you, I am Greek. One of my favorite sayings from my big fat Greek wedding, which was exactly the way my household was. Dad was the head of the household, but mom was the neck that turned the head whichever way she
For sure,
wanted.
you know,
So as long as I had mom on
so
my side,
so
dad was
true,
good.
so true, so true, Ryan, so true.
So, where's the name Hiram and Solomon come from?
Hiram and Solomon, the Mason going back to the Middle Ages and stuff, definitely they got their teaching or their stuff definitely from the Old Testaments and the New Testaments. This is where they start. And Solomon is King Solomon of Israel, the son of David.
Yep.
David was promised to build the temple of God, but because he sinned, God told him, "You will not build it. Solomon will build it." So Solomon, when he wanted to build the temple, he summoned to a city nearby, which the city called the city of Tyre, which is in present day Lebanon right now. And at that time, there were the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians occupying that lands, and they were very powerful, very rich, and the king's name was Hiram. So King Hiram, king of Tyre. So he summons him. He said, "I need your help. I need cedars from Lebanon, because Lebanon, unlike that's the only country in the Middle East that has mountains. They have cedars. We have four seasons. We have all that stuff. We don't have deserts." So King Hiram sends him all the workers and all the materials from brass, iron, to, and that's all in the Old Testament, and all the cedars from Lebanon. And along that, he sent them his chief architect. What just the name happened to be also Hiram. So Hiram is known as the Hiram, the widow's son. So there's two Hirams and one Solomon. So those are considered theoretically our three first Grand Masters. So legends story said, and I'm not saying telling any secrets. You can Google these stuff. You can see everybody can Google them and listen to the story, see the story. That there were at that time there was the masons, the real masons that work on the stones. So there were level of masonry. There were the enter apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master mason, and they were paid according to their level of expertise. And when they finished working in one temple, they went to another city to build another temple. These stone masons were paid nicely. So in order for the new place to know their level of expertise, they each had their handshakes and the secret words. So now the architect will know that he's an enter apprentice, he's a fellow craft, he's a master mason, and pay them accordingly. So legend said that there was a secret word of master mason shared by the three grandmaster Hiram, and King Solomon that will not be given away unless the three of them are present. So when the temple of Solomon was finished, three enter apprentices conspired to attack Hiram, the architect, the widow's son, to get the secret word of Master Mason in order for them to travel to another country to get paid higher.
Fake it.
To fake it, yes. Legend says also that Hiram, the widow's son, refused to give the secret word because the promise was made that will only be given on the three of them, and preferred to be killed, die on the spot, and will never divulge the word of the master mason. So we took that as Mason took that story and built it into their teaching that loyalty is everything. Loyalty, secrecy, brotherhood. When we promise something, we live by it or we die for it.
Hence why you're not allowed to know certain things unless you're part of the organization.
Yes.
That's where that stems from. I never knew that. That's very interesting. So that actually goes back literally and is built into the roots of the Masonic Temple, the Masonic Lodge, is that we are just going to cherish and protect our own stuff and not just freely give it away. Now, I do know in talking to some architect, and I'm sure that, or architecture, and I'm sure you know some of this, but who was, I forgot who it was, but the arches, the stone arches, where, and in the Sistine Chapel, and how it's all pieced together, but it's held together by weight, not necessarily by cement. Right. That was the work of the
of
Master Masons.
Freemasons. Right.
And that was the intelligence at which they had for that skill of masonry.
And
Um,
most of the cathedral in Europe were built by Freemasons, and with the skills that they had and all that stuff.
so then now when you kind of let people know a little bit about that, it understands why you take so much pride in creating something for the Masons, because there are still things around from the beginning that the Masons built. Like there's still
Mhm.
structures that stand. There's not just structures that have crumbled a little bit and are still there, but there's structures that are used every single day that are hundreds of years old. And that is a pure testament. So when you're putting together a cigar, are you taking these traditions of, oh my gosh, this stuff still exists, into
Absolutely.
account on how you're crafting your cigar?
Absolutely right. Absolutely. If you look at all the names, our original three lines, actually, it's called the Enter Apprentice, the Philocraft, the Master Mason. And the Enter Apprentice being the first degree in the Mason, it was our mild cigar. The Philocraft is the medium cigar, and the Master Mason is the full body cigar, being the third degree and the highest degree. From there, we took it to the Traveling Man. The Traveling Man, it's another, which is with the purple band, the one with the purple band. The Traveling Man, it's another main of the Masons, so I can tell you, are you a Freemason or are you a Traveling Man? What we mean by that, it's every Mason, every Freemason, every member of the fraternity is required to travel. Yes, that's the one. Every member is required to travel mentally towards the east. Why the east? The east is the place where the sun rises, where the light, where the knowledge is. So every man is a traveling man. Every Mason is a traveling man, because in our quest to be better, to learn more, we always will look for that light. So that's where the traveling man, and we specifically made that cigar from four different countries, from different regions, four type of cigar tobacco in it from different countries, to say that that cigar is a traveling man, that we need to travel for the four corners of the universe in order to better ourselves. The Shriner, the Shriner, we put five countries and six different region in it to show the universality of masonry. Masonry is not just in the United States, it's not just in the Middle East, it's not in Europe, it's all over the world and existed throughout history. And until now, we are the biggest and oldest fraternity, and we're very proud of saying that. And then we go to the Grand Architect, it's another line of our cigars. And we made sure when we named that cigar the Grand Architect, we made sure to have that cigar powerful as the Grand Architect that we believe in. So that's, we put a lot of corojo in it, a lot of strong tobacco in it. So every cigar that we created, we knew what the cigar for. We knew what to do with that cigar, what the purpose of that cigar, according to the name that we wanted to name that cigar. And that's how each of our line, the Veil of Prophet, the Veil of Prophet, it's another subgroup of the Masons called the Grotto group. And they have one of their degree called the Veil Prophet. And we put that cigar, the original cigar, in a coffin. So we had to unveil the box to see the Veil of Prophet. Uh, and goes on and on. The Unity cigar, it was the time when, with the chaos that it was going on between you're black, I'm white, you're black, I'm white, and stuff like this, stuff going on. And there was the need for unity there. And the Grand Master said, I want to call that cigar the Unity. And it shows two hands. It may not show directly on the skirt, on the label, but one hand is black, one hand is white, to show that enough of that nonsense. We are all one, unity. If you look at our uh, uh, bags, the Yumi packs that we use, we don't use tobacco on it. We don't use fields, tobacco fields, unlike any other companies. We actually use uh, artwork from the 1600s that a master in Belgium created that, and it depicts a white man and a black man holding earth together with one hand, and that's our Yumi pack. The chabal in it's a Hebrew name for the cord. So the cord tied together, so means one cord by itself, one tiny thing, it's not strong enough. But when we tie three, four of them together, that cord becomes so strong we cannot break, and that's our brotherhood. The revival, the North Carolina Grand Mesa, what they call it, the revival. It was the time during the pandemic where we wanted to get up and not just sit home and die. We wanted to get up, meet your fellow brothers. It's the revival of human history, of the human itself. So each one of the cigars' name are carefully chosen, and each tobacco or the strength of the cigar is chosen specifically to match that name and the purpose of that cigar.
There's a lot that you took into account when making your cigars. There's a lot of respect that you took into account when making your cigars. And it shows. You make fantastic cigars. You make special occasion. You make every day. But you make cigars with a purpose. You make cigars where every single cigar has its purpose in your line. It's not just another product, it's there to serve a purpose, whether it's to bring um, information to light, get people together. Uh, I love that stuff when you start geeking out about cigars, when you get to know the brand and you get to understand what makes that brand beat. And it's powerful what you have made, and it's very very good what you have made, and you've done a lot of good for the industry. I just have to say, and you've done a lot of good for the Masons themselves as well. Um, Although I do kind of have, Randy asks a question, and maybe you know this. In the beginning of the Masons, you had to be an actual Mason to be part of it.
Right.
So Randy asks, what percentage of Master Masons occupationally? I'm sure Fouad can't answer that, but what he probably could answer is, when did the Masonics open themselves up to other people other than Freemasons, other than Master Masons?
Okay, I'm not quite sure that I understood the question again.
So in the beginning, the Freemasons were there as a master or as a Mason organization. You couldn't be a non-Mason and be part of it in the beginning.
No, right.
When did that change?
It never changes. So you still have to be a Mason to be part of the Freemasons.
But not like a brick Mason.
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying. That changed actually when the need to build cathedrals in Europe stopped.
Okay.
So the intellectuals at that time felt the need when in the 1600s, 1700s, 1500s, when the church was fighting all the intellectuals, all the scientists, all the safety people, they're refusing to say that the world is round. It's a straight line. This is where they moved Freemasonry from the actual Freemasons working on the stone to building ourselves the temple or the cathedral within us. So each Freemason is a temple himself. Each one of us, it's an ashlar, it's a rough ashlar, it's a stone. When we join Masonry, we are a rough stone. And as we go through our journey, we start chiseling that rough stone to become the perfect ashlar, the polished one. That's our purpose. How many of us succeed? Hopefully a lot. But some fail, absolutely. Like any other things in life, we fail or we succeed with it. But you have the tools within Freemasonry to polish yourself, to build that temple within yourself. So in the Middle Ages, this is when the need stopped for having cathedral or big castles and stuff. It's when they felt all the what they call it at that time. If I'm gonna say the word right now, people may misunderstand it. The Illuminatis of that time, that has nothing to do with the Illuminatis right now. The Illuminatis at that time are the scientists, the mathematicians, the artists that joined the group to further the science within humanity. So that's why part of our degree, the second degree, is we teach arithmetic, mathematics, geometry, rhetoric, language, the human senses. Each one of them has a meaning. The five different orders of architect, all that stuff is being taught at the second degree. And the purpose of it, at the end, as I said, is to build your own temple and to polish yourself to become the perfect ashlar within society.
See, I would be removed once we started getting into mathematics and geometry. I can't do any of it. If I could use a TI-83 calculator, I am golden.
Listen, we're not going to teach you equations. We're not going to teach you that. Definitely not. But we teach you the purpose of it and how we interpret that within our own life.
Well, Bruce, you have made such an impact on Bruce. He says, "Fouad for president." Well, we all know because we started at the beginning of the show. He is a Mason, so he just has not been drawn yet to become president, but he's in the running.
I'm being groomed.
Yeah, it's like a 25-year draw. All right. So yeah, so the next 10 years or 15 years, you may see him in the White House. God knows who would be better than what's in there now. So through all of this, what has been your most fun experience through building this company? What and let me position it differently than fun. Outside of the guy that called you, that reached out, that you saved his life, just by being an ear for him to listen or for you to listen to, what has been another experience that just completely changed your life inside the Masonic world?
Being able to do what I always believed in, to do more for charity, to meet people all over the world. Actually, throughout this company, I was able to meet people from all kind of walk of life and in different countries that I would have never ever dreamt of meeting, whether it's in Germany or in the Congo or in Japan or in Indonesia or in Cambodia or in Dubai or in Beirut or any other country, Italy, France, you name it. And I know somebody in one country, and we keep in touch with each other until now. And at the same time, being able to raise money for charity, that's my biggest accomplishment. I'm not even close to where I want to be with that, but hopefully the next few years we'll be able to do way much more. We're working on a program right now to involve every Mason to be part of this company to raise money also for charity. And the other part is we were able to even hire few Masons that they were unemployed to work within the company and make money for themselves also.
So it truly is a company that's giving back at every avenue inside the company.
We're trying at that.
And you know what? It's one of those things. As somebody that started a charity myself, it's we raised a good chunk of change last year for Ronald McDonald House Charities, and this year we're trying to raise a considerable amount more. And one of the things that I've realized in just doing this for a year, you've got a lot more time on me than that as far as the charity aspect is concerned. You're never satisfied with what you did the year before. You always want to kind of raise more to help more. So how do you find in yourself to be happy with what you've done? And I ask this question personally for me, because I have a hard time of looking at what I did and living in that moment for more than 5 minutes. And I'm like, how can I do better? I've lived that for 5 minutes. Now I move on. How do you find that balance between a big accomplishment and wanting to do more next time?
It's never enough, Ryan. It's as you just said it. It's the 5 minutes of that accomplishment that puts you into that bliss, that I did something, and then reality sinks in. There is more to be done, and you look for those avenues to make it better. So right now, when we sit and we talk within the company with my wife, with the kids, because two of Romy's kids are right now involved in the company. Also, it's the things that we can do is much bigger than what we did so far. Whatever we did, is it big? Yes, for the size of the company, it's big. Is it big enough? Not even close. Not even close. So it is that 5 minutes of bliss, 5 minutes rush that you get it, and then after that, the quest is how can we do better than what we did so far.
You know,
I don't think we never reach that total satisfaction because there's always something to be done.
and I and to kind of put a little bit of visual on it for some people, um, I kind of look at Schindler's List as obviously a great movie, historically accurate, but one of the subparts of that movie is charity. And way I always took that was at the end when he started saying, "Oh, this belt, this coat, this ring could have bought more, done more." That's kind of that mentality of somebody that always wants to do. It's what I have done is great, but it's never enough. And so for you, do you ever have to kind of tell yourself, or does Romy ever tell you, sit back and just enjoy it, like just live in it for a minute without doing this ring could have done more. If I'd have sold six more boxes, it could have really brought up this more money, or like do you ever have to have help? I know my wife, instantly after the event that we did last year, I was like, okay, planning the next one. She goes, can you just give yourself a few days to kind of bask in what you did?
Rami is more involved in charity than I am, but she's more level than I am actually. So she sinks in more than I do, and yes, she did put me where I need to belong at that moment, and tells me to suck up the moment, live it, and then start thinking about it because that 5 minutes, and after that comes the anxiety. What's next? What's the other thing? Uh, this is where her reasoning comes. Relax, we did it. We will think about the next step. We did it. Our biggest discussion right now within this company, how can we save on not the cigars itself, on the boxes, on the bands, and all that stuff. Because every penny saved on this, it's more money for charity, not money in our pocket, more money for the charity. So we were able to cut down on the box price in half because we moved from wooden boxes to the cardboard boxes, which they look better, but they're not as expensive as the wood. But that money also was able to put it towards the charity also. So that's the part. Now we are at a point where we grew to a point where investors are needed in this company, and investors will not look much into that, even though some of them will appreciate that, but at the end they want returns on their money. So we need to show at the same. We need to have that balance between you're gonna make your money, but at the same time, I want to do. We we were offered to buy, to sell the company. We refused that totally because
Good.
the company that were buying us, they offered us good money, and we will be the end of our venture into that. They had no purpose or no
And,
plan of donating anything back. That
yep.
was not in their plan. They were
Yep.
pure investors. They were pure, this is money, we're going to sell the cigars, this is the stuff, that's and done, finished. We refused that.
It was a money play.
Yes, we refused totally to accept that.
And I commend you on that. It's hard to walk away from a big frickin' paycheck.
Yeah.
And to be very honest with you, that's when morals are tested.
Mhm.
Is when you're looking at 10, 15, 20, 30, $100 million right in front of you on a check, and you looking over at your wife going, we could retire, never have to do anything again. But that's where then your moral side kicks in and go, you're not going to keep our company to what we want. So selling you the company would actually defer or defeat the purpose by which we started the company for.
Absolutely.
So I commend you for that, man. That
Thank
is
you.
a
Thank you.
tough,
Thank you.
tough thing. And without answering yes or no, I'm just going to guess it was General Cigar. Just because they're buying everybody in the last few years, it seems like. Of course, don't give that information up.
No.
But in all seriousness, I love the story of this brand so much. I wish my granddad was still alive to see this brand in fruition. He died in 2009.
Yes.
And I think he was a pipe smoker, actually. There is his pipe. But I know he would have smoked these cigars because of the meaning behind it. So, with that said, have you run across people that are like, I don't smoke cigars, but because I'm part of the lodge and you guys do so much, I started smoking your cigars?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many. Either that buying them or getting used to it to smoke the cigars, or buying it and gifting it to somebody else that smokes cigars, which I don't think happens with other brands.
No, I would agree. You always get the, oh, I'm buying this for my dad, but
Yeah.
part of me thinks that you have a lot of Masons that have never smoked before that smoke this brand because of the values at which this brand stands for.
Hmm.
And that is a huge tribute to this company and to what you guys have built. That's for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
so tell me a story of somebody that you ran into, never smoked your cigars, but opened up with you around their experience with the first time with your cigar.
There was a guy actually. I mean, we were in one Masonic events. They had a cigar night, and they had they had smokers and non-smokers over there, and it just happened that prior to that, there was a remark on Facebook on one of the posts that I did. It was actually the Master Mason cigar. Then one of the guys said, when I smoked the Master Mason cigar, it took me back to the moment when I was raised as a Master Mason, and that moment was cherished, and the cigar meant much for me. And the guy said, can you make me live that moment again?
Wow.
And he never smoked cigar before. And we started, I said, I will start you with the milder cigar and medium cigar and stuff. And this is one of many that started smoking cigar because that cigar meant something for them, because it brought them back to an experience that they had before in their life. Uh, and we made them relive that moment. So,
And that I love stuff like that. When I smell a pipe, it brings me back instantly to my granddad. It's very interesting how smells bring you back to memories and they're tied to memories.
so true, so true.
And for me, one of the things that I've really found out a lot in this interview is this cigar company is not about you. This is one of the few cigar companies that is not about the owner. Yes, you and Romy are the face. Romy's definitely the face of the company with Instagram and her marketing. But this company is not Fouad and Romy centric.
No, it will
It
never be.
is, you guys are just the ambassadors that keep the brand doing what the core values of the company was set up to do. Why is that important when people look at your cigars to know that?
Ryan, at the end, the fraternity itself, the masonry, it's bigger than any person, bigger than George Washington, bigger than Ben Franklin, bigger than any kings that ever existed as a Freemasons. The fraternity continues going, and part of that, the company, as I said, the mission of the company that we truly believe in, it's not Fuad, it's not Romy, it's not my ex-partner George. It's the value of the company and the purpose of the company. And it will come a day where I'll be gone to the lodge on high, as we call it, the Masons, and I'll pass away. I want that cigar company to continue doing the mission, and it will not die because Fuad passed away or somebody else. It's the mission of the company. It's the idea of the company. It's the spirit of the company that lives and continue doing what it's doing. And hopefully I'll be able to pass it to people that will continue this legacy of continuing what we're building on, and hopefully they'll do even better than what we did.
I love that answer. I love that answer. Leaving something to be better, leaving something better than where it started for somebody to make it better than where you left it. I love that idea. So since you brought it up, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer question for you because you are a spiritual person, you are a believer in a God. I'm not. None of our business what religion you believe in, but you are a believer. When you go to the pearly gates, quote unquote, what do you want your creator to say to you?
All I want from my creator to accept me as a precious, a precious creation of his own that continue to do the work of him through us. That's all. We are tools for the creation who created us to continue doing the work of our creator. It's not Fuad, it's not Romy, it's the millions of Fuad, millions of Romy, and millions of Ryans that continue doing. Humanity existed for hundreds of thousands of years, and it's going to continue hopefully for many millions of years, and hopefully many of us will be existing to continue doing the work, not just the way we're doing it, but even better.
If first off, do you feel that heaven will allow cigars?
There is no heaven without cigar.
So then my next question is, when you get to the quote unquote pearly gates and you can bring three of your cigars, two for you to smoke the rest of your life and one for your creator, what would the three cigars be, and why would you choose the cigar you choose for your creator?
I will choose the grand architect for my creator to give it to him because that's what the cigar was created for: the powerful, the balanced, uh, and for me it will be the master mason to bring me to that moment again, as that brother told me, that bring me back to the moment when I was raised as a master mason, bring me back to that moment, because that moment only can be lived by people who went through it and understand what I'm saying about that. So it will be two master mason and one grand architect.
Fantastic. I love that.
Hopefully, a couple of boxes, right? To last me through eternity. In Islam, they do believe that once they go to heaven, they will have rivers of wine that you will drink, but you will never get drunk. So hopefully I will have a cigar that I will smoke that they will never distinguish. So I'll keep on smoking it for eternity.
You know, if you came up with that before you passed, you would be the Masonic Lodge would be the wealthiest organization on the planet. Now, for me, I'm not a red wine guy, so hopefully my house is has bourbon running through the pipes.
So hopefully we'll have at least a small water running throughout a bourbon.
Absolutely,
Now,
absolutely,
a
absolutely.
Russian guy comes and I want a vodka.
So we have Bruce that said the answer to what the creator to say. He said he wants him to say that he's here too early and send him back. And then we have Randy Bush hoping to hear, come on in, bro. Larry Frank says the Revival would be the cigar that he would choose. And Cody says the Everlasting cigar sounds great to him.
That's gonna be an expensive cigar, though. You have to pay for that.
Talk about that, because you're never making another dime off of it. So that's going to be like $100,000 cigar.
See, that reminds me because as I mentioned before that I'm more in the gas business and stuff like this. And one of the stories they said that one of the meeting that Exxon company actually created an oil for the cars that you will never have to change, but they never introduced it because no matter how much they're gonna price it, it was never beneficial for them. So they used it only in their cars, the company cars, but not for consumers. So I don't know if I'm gonna introduce that cigar, Everlasting Cigar. I love that name though, Everlasting Cigar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or like the trick cigar, the cigar you light that never stays lit. The second you
Yeah.
get it going, it just goes out right away.
The red thing starts on top and that's it.
So what is a rapper that you would love to work with but haven't yet?
So far, we've been having a hard time uh, having a cigar that meet our standards with the Cameroon wrapper. None of our line has the Cameroon wrapper, and we're so far for the last year and a half, we've been testing and testing different blinds with that Cameroon wrapper. We are having good cigars, but I'm not having the cigar that we want from that. So the Cameroon wrapper will be our next project that we're working on for a year and a half. Hopefully, soon we're aging a couple of them right now to see how they're gonna age, because sometimes smoking a cigar when it was made, same like the wine. Some wine age good, some wine don't age good. Uh, so when we make a cigar, we taste it after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, after 6 months to see if it aged good, if the tobacco inside that cigar, what we call it the marriage of tobacco, is it a good marriage, or that marriage is going to end up in divorce? We don't want that cigar to end up in divorce. We want that cigar to be a successful marriage between the tobacco itself. So our biggest challenge now is to come up with that Cameroon wrapper that has that success marriage.
Now, I am a massive Cameroon fan. I love Cameroon. Are you talking, and if you can't divulge this
No,
one way
no.
or the other, that's fine. Are you looking at Cameroon seed, or are you looking at actual African Cameroon?
African Cameroon.
Fantastic. So any geek here can kind of guess the family that you have to go through, which is great
One
because
family.
it's absolutely fantastic, fantastic Cameroon. You've been working on that for a year and a half. Are we hoping to see it next year, maybe, or do you think you still got another little bit of time on that?
If everything goes right, our plan is to introduce it the next PCA, which is about a year, 15 months from now, because if the blend that we did right now survives another test of aging, then we're gonna produce it, and definitely we're gonna need to age it for at least 6 months to a year to see to have it the way we want it to have. So the earliest date will be next PCA.
Awesome. Now, being that you brought PCA up, we don't have to touch on this very long or in depth by any means. Just getting a brand owner's opinion, and I'll give you mine first.
Yes.
PCA is talking about moving from Vegas, which I think brand owners are happy about because Vegas is fucking expensive. So moving from Vegas to either New Orleans or Tampa. Now, if somebody from PCA called you up, what would be your recommended choice, Tampa or New Orleans?
I know now 2024 is going to be in New Orleans.
Oh, that has been confirmed. I didn't see that was confirmed.
That's been done, and so next year it will be in New Orleans, and I think most of manufacturers are very happy with that. First, definitely is the cost value, because Vegas tend to be very, very expensive.
Yes.
A small company like us can a PCA 20 by 20 can run anything after everything's said and done between $50,000 to $75,000, and that's a lot of money. And so I know some people, some manufacturers that they spend over $500,000 or $1 million on on their stuff. So taking it, and secondly, what as a manufacturer, what we experience in Las Vegas is the rush of retailers the first day, and the second day and the third day they start diminishing because of the partying, of the gambling, and all that stuff that's happening. And then the next day you don't see them as much, or you see them the end of the day stuff. So we want to meet the retailers. We want to talk to them when they are not buzzed
drunk
from the night before.
Well, that is I see. In my opinion, I felt that Tampa would be the perceived favorite because it would save the manufacturers a ton of money, shipping, flights, cigar shipping,
everything. My first choice will be Tampa, definitely. But I will take New Orleans next year, and I believe it's not confirmed that the following year will be Tampa, but that's not confirmed yet.
Okay, awesome. Well, I didn't know that. So I have a tendency to follow it close. I didn't know that New Orleans was absolutely a given. Yes, PCA should be in Colorado, 100%. But my state hates everything smoking, other than pot. So that probably won't happen here. Now, Bruce clearly loves your wife. You were in the background for the show. Is Romy in the background where she could say hi?
She is listening inside, but I can call her right now and she can say hello. Absolutely.
Can you have her say hello for Bruce?
Absolutely.
Bruce is a huge fan of the show.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. There you go, Bruce. There you go. She heard.
She heard.
Sorry.
There you go. She heard.
I'm listening. Let me take this away. 1 second.
There you go.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, great. I'm just having 26 people on Sunday for a pre-Memorial Day lunch.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I will say he's doing his best to keep up with you on your interview. You know what, though? I love the fact that now that we have both you on, it was different dynamics of the shows. It was different feels of it. This one we focused a little bit more on the Masonic side of the brand, and I think that's very valuable because even in the comments here, you see that, and I didn't post it because it's not true, but somebody had said that Freemasons are satanic. And I don't believe that at all, but it was very nice to be able to have Fouad here to kind of walk through the understanding of Masonic a little bit more for maybe people that don't fully understand. And again, for me, it's what we don't understand we fear most.
That's true. Absolutely.
You know,
I wish they dig in more with what they don't understand, and they did in the past 2 years, which they didn't dig much about it. They're still whining about what they don't know about the Freemasons.
No, absolutely.
A small political statement here. So nowadays
Absolutely.
we only nag about the things that are like prefabricated in our brains instead of reading more about it, learning more about these things. Because, like you said, we fear more the things that we just ignore. It's not we don't know; it's we ignore. Hi, Randy. And I mean, really, the brotherhood, the fraternity, the Freemasons, if they only knew how much they are invested in the goodwill, the good doing about everything they live, about their life, about improving everybody's life around them.
Absolutely. You got a lot of fans here. I mean, my gosh, you've got a lot of fans. But yes, Larry, there's a lot of misinformation here, which is why I was so happy to have Fouad on, and which is why I was very grateful that he kind of honored me in going down the rabbit hole of some of the Masonic stuff. And just to kind of give people an understanding that they're not for a one world order. They're not even a one world organization. They just have ties together. Nobody runs anything. Everybody kind of runs it together. And
well, if they're running one thing good, is that the friendship, the fraternity, the family values, and all the other stuff that I've met in my life, from a Freemason father that I had, to friends that I have, and of course married to this young man here, that is not really changing my mind about how good it is to be a Freemason.
Well, so that's the best selling point of the Freemasons all night. Join the Freemasons, you have a great wife like Romy. It's a guarantee. Well, I want to ask you really quick, Fouad, some additional lightning round questions here. What is your favorite cut of your cigar? Or to use? Straight cut.
Straight cut.
What is your favorite size?
Lancero. For sure.
Lancero. Oh, see, that is why I like Hiram and Solomon Lanceros. I actually look, one of my things with Lanceros is they're sometimes awful because they're not rolled right, they're too tight, they're too loose. It's hard to roll them, right? Because they're a smaller gauge. I have a requirement for companies with Lanceros that I smoke in my humidor. The owner must be a Lancero fan. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that about you. I've seen you smoke your Lanceros. I've seen you talk about Lanceros. And there's a couple other companies that I won't mention that are also big Lancero manufacturers because the owners are big Lancero. That to me is a requirement because I always know they're going to be made to the caliber by which the owner smokes versus just a line extension. What is your favorite pairing?
Favorite what?
Pairing. Drink pairing.
Pairing. Depending on the cigars, Ryan. As I said, if I smoke a heavier cigar, definitely a bourbon or a whiskey definitely will go well with it. But if I go for the lighter cigar, coffee definitely will be the choice.
How big is your home humidor?
Big.
It is a walk-in humidor.
Are we talking like 100 by 100, 20 by 20, 3,000 square feet?
No, the 100 by 100 is coming soon. It's going to be 100 by 50. So soon.
It is 5 by 3 right now. It's a walk-in humidor. You open, technically, you go inside, you walk, and I don't have just my brands there. We have all different brands in there because if you appreciate cigar, you appreciate all the brands that they're putting wonderful cigars in the world in there. So yes, we love our cigars, but we love other cigars too. And I encourage everyone to test and taste and enjoy many cigars in there because each one of them is better than the other, and each one of them give you a different experience.
So that then leads to my next question. What are some of the top brands outside of Hiram and Solomon that you enjoy, Fouad?
My top brand, and I don't need to bash anybody else. So definitely my go-to it will be Padron.
Okay, so you like a heavier cigar in
Yeah,
just
Padron,
by
Padron,
default.
and Padron and a Liga are my favorite brand to go to. The Liga either the T52 or the T9, and I think Romy is
Same Padron.
Padron.
Padron number one, Padron number two. I do like in different brands some blends, but with Padron, I can say I can like more than 5 of their blends blindly. Of course, the special editions of Fuente, they have the Maduro is.
But we tend also to smoke many other boutique brands in there, from the Foundation to other cigars the Tabernacle and
the new one that I smoked today.
Oh, the Olmec.
the Olmec. Yes,
Love the Olmec.
love the Olmec. Surprisingly
Uh,
beautiful cigar.
Well, see, you actually.
LFD also is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, Lido
all-time
Gomez,
favorites.
get out of here.
Yeah.
It's
Forget
amazing.
about it.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
fantastic.
you cannot just. It's like you're telling me to choose between my kids. Each one has its own value. And
Oh,
its
come
own,
on, don't lie.
so-
You have a favorite kid. Don't lie. It's the one that doesn't ask you for the most money. I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's not old enough to ask us for money yet, but
Coming soon.
goddamn, I would give her every dime that I had if it was worth it. If she
Right.
actually wanted to do something good with it. Which is honestly why I started my charity, is because I always wanted her to know that her father did the best he could to do something bigger than himself.
Absolutely.
And for me, that is a great value to instill in children. Now it's interesting that you had mentioned Foundation, just because your Ligas, they were Nick Mello as well, created by. So, but I want to ask your question because you also had talked about boutique. What is your definition of a boutique cigar company?
For me, boutique cigars, it's not about how many cigars they make or any of that stuff they make. It's a cigar that represent a purpose and the owner personality into that cigar. So when I smoke a boutique cigar, I know the owner, and I know what they put inside that cigar, and I know what their personality, and I know what they expect from that cigar. So boutique cigar represent more the owner and the purpose of that company.
What is your biggest pet peeve when you walk into a humidor or a lounge?
Not having employees there that they have no clue about cigars, definitely, and or when my wife walk into the cigar lounge, they usually ask her
The cliche.
what does he smoke. And, I went to a cigar lounge here one time with my wife and her friend, and I walked into the humidor and I told him I want a medium cigar. He said, he showed me the big bread. I said, no, give me something that I never smoked, a boutique cigar. Show me a boutique cigar that he gave. At the end, we end up with one cigar, and he said, for the ladies. I said, and I want 2 cigars for the ladies, and the guy,
chocolate and Coca-Cola
the guy reached through the flavored cigar, the tabak and all those stuff, and I said, listen, I want full body cigar for my wife, and it's just the fact because she's a woman, and the guy went directly to the cherry and the vanilla and stuff like that. And I said, no, I smoke medium, you smoke full body.
But that doesn't mean it's I mean, that's an ignorant, regardless what gender he's trying to sell to. It's
Sure.
an ignorant person. You know,
Absolutely.
I've encountered amazingly nice salespeople, but at the same time, people don't realize that nowadays it's so hard to find a salesman and hire him. But if you hire someone, at least let him be a smoker. I don't care if he knows what's the binder and what's the filler, because we tend to really ask a lot of questions in the United States, like what's the binder, what's the filler, what type of glue. It's like going through a custom or something sometimes. I really feel like somebody's interviewing me, like interrogating me at the custom, right? What glue is in there? But I mean, at least if he knows the wrapper, the body, and the strength. I care more about someone telling me what's the body, if it's full, medium, mild, and what's the strength level, because it can be mild with a high kick,
Oh yeah.
which is
Oh
the
yeah.
case of a lot of Connecticut. I don't like Connecticut, but and then also I really need to know when I'm smoking something with a very high nicotine level. That's all. If I'm asking you, I'm trying to be nice because I know what I know. Well, I mean, I know what I want, but I am trying to be nice. I'm giving you all the nice thing of me asking you what you suggest. Because it's also nice to discover new cigars. A lot of time we go to the
Absolutely.
restaurant, we ask the sommelier, what do you want us to drink today? Like, he's there. That's his beautiful job. Or even the waiter, we ask him, what's your favorite dish here? And we go with it.
Yeah, it's hard to do that when somebody hasn't eaten any of the food from the restaurant you're ordering from.
Yeah.
You
Or you
know,
want to just discover new.
I think retailer and definitely manufacturer need to do a little bit more on educating
Mhm.
the salespersons in there, teaching them about each cigar and stuff like this. It is hard, yes, but that's part of their job. So the retailers has to do their job, and also I blame the manufacturer, including us, not to have the proper education for those salespeople to introduce a cigar. I walked to a cigar lounge in Maryland, and I know for a fact that the guy carried all our line, 16 line, and he placed a big order prior to a couple of weeks prior to that. And when I asked the employee, "Do you carry Hiram and Solomon?" He did not know me. He said, "No, I don't think we carry that brand." And I walked inside the humidor. Here's the 16 boxes sitting there. I called him. I said, "Oh, you have Hiram and Solomon here." He said, "Oh, I did not know." I said, "Okay, I'm taking the Shriner," and I explained the Shriner to him. I said, "This is 5 countries, this region, Ecuadorian to Sumatra. This is the flavor of the cigars and stuff." So he said, "Thank you so much," and stuff. And he still doesn't know me that I'm the brand owner. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there and waiting for the owner and listening. And a customer walks in and goes to the same employee and he asked him. He said, "What do you recommend today?" And what did he say? He said, "Let me tell you about that Shriner cigar. It has an Ecuadorian cigar that has this. And he sold them the cigar because he felt empowered now. He knows
sure,
something, that
sure.
stuff. So, yeah. And one time, another funny story, funny in a way that I walked into one of the biggest retailers in Florida, uh, not to mention any names, and I asked the employee over there, "I don't see any Hiram and Solomon inside, and do you have any?" He said, "What do you want from this cigar? They're shitty cigar to start with."
That's exactly what he said.
Just exactly like that. I said, so I looked at him, I said, "Listen, I don't appreciate you bashing any brand. If you don't like the cigar, that doesn't mean they're a shitty cigar." And and some and I left it there and I went and sat
Wow.
outside. I sat outside. Another employee in there recognized me and he came outside. He said, "I heard your conversation. Aren't you the owner of the brand?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Why you didn't say that?" I said, "It's not going to make a difference for the guy because that's he wasn't trained right." And he said either he called the owner right now or he has to come and apologize. I said, "I don't need his apology technically because the retailer did not teach him the right way."
He lost the sale that day.
He lost about 6 box sales that day because I had a group from the Masons that they came to meet me at the cigar lounge and each one of them wanted to buy a box. And they left, they didn't buy anything. And but the guy went and told him, "This is the owner of it." He came and apologized. I said, "Listen, not because it's my brand. I do not appreciate you even telling me it's a shitty cigar about any other brand there, because that's not the way of that. If you don't like the cigar, some people like lobster, some people like steaks. It doesn't mean lobster is not good or steak is not good. It's not your flavor, but your role here is not to tell a customer it's a shitty cigar or a good cigar. Tell them about the flavors, about the strengths, and let the customer decide whether they want that cigar or not."
Absolutely. I'm a firm. There's a lot of cigars I don't like. There's a lot of brands I don't smoke because they don't hit my palate.
Yeah.
I know
Exactly.
a lot of people that like those cigars. I am a firm believer that there's a cigar for everybody, but there's not a cigar that everybody loves.
Absolutely.
And so I totally agree with you. Um, absolutely agree with you. Now, the last question I have to close the night: when you walk into a lounge, who is more well known? You? And I'm only asking this because you guys have a big Instagram presence. You or Romy?
Bert, for sure. 100%. I've been doing it for 8 years. She's been doing it for probably about 3 years now. But in 3 years, she built more presence in the company than I do it, and she is more definitely recognized. Not not mostly internationally. So people internationally know her more than they know me, and for me that's a gift for me. And
Just blonde. That's it.
no.
Listen, Ryan, before I leave, I want you to one day have this important topic regarding you were asking about what's the difference between the boutique cigars and why boutique cigars, and whether or not you want to upgrade yourself or keep, because people think when you're not a boutique cigar you're higher. And no, just one thing, I want you to tackle that conversation in particular. But then also a lot of lounge owners, since they open it out of passion most of the time because they're bored, the wife doesn't let them smoke at home. He goes like, all right, instead of having a space in my house, I can always have somewhere and open a lounge. I'm not saying all of them. A lot of them are very professional, but sometimes you walk into the humidor and you only see the big names. When I go to the mall, I know where is Chanel. I know where is Dior. I don't need anyone to tell me which one is Dior on display. If you want to sell something and you want to introduce a brand, I'm not saying just about Hiram and Solomon, because thank God we have our followers and the Masons. They will come and ask for the name. But if I'm going to a new space, new brand, looking for something I want to smoke, and I've never seen those on when I first come in, we have other businesses, and I know exactly what I'm talking about out of knowing the other businesses. What you put in the on the shelf when you walk in, that's the first space. The next one is just up and down. Sometimes you go there, you have all the names that are there, and then they complain, oh, nobody's buying that. It happened recently in one of the lounges here in New Jersey. He wanted us to be really on top shelf, but just you go in, you make a left. Most people, they are making right because their left brain is thinking. I go like, man, put it on the right, put it in front. You want to sell. The minute he changed, he's selling. He just because people are seeing it. You know what I'm saying? As simple as that. That's a nice topic if you can tackle it anytime, and I'm here to bash about it anytime.
Well, I tell you, we'll have to save that topic and in depth for another day. Bruce is actually requesting that both of you come on the show, so we'll have to set it up for both of you to
Will be
come on.
more than happy to do
Yeah,
that, more than
exactly.
honored to do that.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Well, I would be more than honored to have both of you on as well. Now, before we do end, tell everybody, if you can, what to expect from you after PCA, how to find your cigars, where to learn a little bit more about you, and then we'll close the show. So, y'all got the floor.
Technically, we just this is the first time we'll announce that actually right now. We are rebranding everything from the bands to reflect more the name of each cigar on each band. We're rebranding the boxes to show more of the fraternity on those boxes, making it more colorful and hopefully
More space friendly also.
more space friendly for retailers. And hopefully after the PCA, we're planning on launching a new line and hope and expect good stuff. Expect every line, everything we do, we try to over overcome to what we did before.
Challenge
ourselves
ourselves
to surpass our limit. Absolutely. So wait for more stuff coming, more surprises, more accessories. Definitely, cutters, lighters, humidors, cigar holders, and all that stuff. So we're growing, and hopefully will be a brand name cigars for every smokers in a very few years.
Exactly. Look for us, ask for Hiram and Solomon Cigars, and read about it.
And you can go on our
Fantastic.
website or our story there, or our retailers are there. You can put your zip code, and we'll tell you the closest retailer to you. And the biggest help you can do is ask the retailer if you want to see it at their place. Ask them to carry the brand because they do listen to their customers.
Fantastic. So we might be able to see a Compass, a Hiram and Solomon Compass coming out, Compass lighter, some good
So-
some good swag is what you're saying.
A lot of beautiful swags are coming. And,
Perfect.
And yes, we are working on a cutter that it is a square and compass.
Yes. That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you all. You guys stick around here for after the show for a quick second, but thank you all to everybody that
Thank
watching.
you, Ryan. Thank you for everyone
Oh.
listening, and appreciate everybody,
Goodbye to all the
every
friends
minute
that
of
I
your time.
know and those who are here and I don't know.
Absolutely. You guys are always more than welcome on. Big shout out to BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars, Kristoff, K by Karen, Berger, Sagrado, New Air Humidors. Check out the description to see a 15% off discount for New Air Humidors. We've got Micallef Cigars, Big Sky Cigars, Cornell and Diehl pipe tobacco. Tonight we were drinking the Axe and the Oak bourbon, and huge shout out as well to not only the big man Abe DeBabna himself, but as well as the big man Steve Saka from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust for believing in this show and sponsoring the show as well. We have here, we have Randy Bush, outstanding show, guys. Smoke what you like. Yes, Bruce, you're beating me to my tagline. Bruce says awesome. Awesome, great show.
Thank you.
As always, you've been watching another live episode here at the Smoking Studios at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. And until we see you all again, smoke what you like. Smoke as often as you can. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Cheers, good night.
Peace.